Today topic is chloroplast. This is one of the cell organelle. Actual cell ultrastructure of the cell is the different types of the cells. So, in these different types of the cells, they have to the so many cell organelles. So, one of the cell organelle is mitochondria, and second one is chloroplast, Golgi complexes, ribosomes. So, these are the most kind of the cell organelles. So, without cell organelles, they cannot any other going of the functions of their cell functions. They do not have any cell functions without cell organelles. So, here the cell organelle, the chloroplast, it is also called to the plastids. The chloroplast, it name also plastids. It name also plastid chloroplast. So, here it is the different type of the word, then the mitochondria as well as chloroplast. It also the chloroplast is a different type of the word, it is in Greek word. The chloroplast or synonym of then the plastids, CP plastids or different empty plastids, different types of then the plastids. So, here it is then the chloroplast plastids, then it is belongs to the Greek word. It is in Greek word. So, what is the Greek meaning in the chloroplast or plastids? It is the completely then the plastid or chloroplast Greek word. It known as that is the formed. It is in formed. The name is the plastid Greek word name. It is in the formed. So, here it is different type of then the scientists are involved in the different type of the given a names, CP plastid or chloroplast, empty DNA, different type of in the ultimate benda, different type of the scientists are given the different types of the names. So, here it is one of the chloroplast, then the chloroplast number, that is it is the involved or it is the formation of then the chloroplast in 1885. In 1885, Schimmer is first announced the plastids. Schimmer is first announced the Schimmer or Schimper is announced the name, that is the chloroplast. What is the chloroplast actually? Chloroplast, it means chloro, that means color, plast, different type of then the pigments like of or any kind of the variations, that is the chloroplast. It is completely then the chloroplast, it is involved different type of the involvements, that in it is the different type of the chloroplast is also they have to the different types of the storages. So, here it is the storage of the chloroplast. Most of the storage of chloroplast, that is soluble or different type of the soluble or insoluble carbohydrates. Storage of chloroplast, that is soluble or insoluble carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is nothing but starches. So, here it is then the plastids, then the most of they have to the different type of the carbohydrates. That means they have a storage in soluble starches, at the same time soluble starches. Then the plastids, it consists of completely that means chromatophores, the plastids or chloroplast. The chloroplast, another name, that is the plastids or different type of then the plastids, that is the plastids. That means it consists of different type of the pigments, that is the chromatophore type of the pigments. Which type of pigments? It has in chromato or chromatophore. Then that is the chromatophore. Chromo, already we know chromo means it is color. Then the phores, different type of then the pigment. So here it is the plastids. It is in the mention of the chromatophores. Then the chromatophores is known as also green pigments. Green pigments. It is known as green pigments. So then the presence of or absence of the different type of the pigments also. It is sometimes it has the pigments is present, sometimes pigments is absent. Then but anyhow that name is then the plastids. The pigments, almost all pigments is not absent, because it is the chromo, some kind of variations. For example, red or brown or blue pigments sometimes happens, they are absent in the chloroplast, but always any one chloroplast is present. So in according to the type of the Schimper, he is involved with different type of the chlorophylls in the chloroplast. What kind of the chlorophylls? So here it is the different type of the chlorophylls, that is the leucoplast, different type of the, according to whose, according Schimper, according to Schimper, according to Schimper, the chloroplast is different types. That okay. Then that is the depend on color pigments. So here it is first that the name is leucoplast. Leucoplasts. It has leucoplast. That means it is complete leukocells or leukemia. These are the different kind of the words. So here it is leucoplast means it is complete the different type of the color, that is white in color. The leucoplast, white color. Leukocells, leukemia, that is a term to easily identify or easily remember it. Then colored type of the plastids, color plastids, that means any kind of color, it has choose other than green. So different type of color or other than green in color, different color or other than green color. So now again that means chromoplast. Chromoplast, that is the one kind of the chromoplast, that is different, any kind of the chromo, that means color. They have to the if any color, any chromoplast, it means color. Then going to the chloroplast, that means chloroplast, it is mostly green, mostly in green. So according to in this shrimper, it has completely divided into the different type of the colors, and among these all colors and present into the chloroplast cell organelle. So, here different, that is the different type of then the, again he is then the different type of then which organelles is synthesized which kind of the food material, that is the store of the different type of the pigments is also. Then according to the shrimper, it has then the leucoplast. Why the leucoplast has in white color? Okay. So, what can it is a synthesized by the in this color is appear? The chloroplast. What is the synthesized by the in chloroplast? They have to the in this type of the color. So, each and every one it has, they have to the different type of the synthesized then different types. So, in according to the shrimper, the each one it is the synthesized by different type of then. So, I am right in this line also. Then the leucoplast, then the leucoplast is synthesized starch, because then the plastids it has completely the plastids or chloroplast it contains soluble or insoluble carbohydrates. So, then carbohydrates is nothing but different type of the starch. So, that is why then the leucoplast, this is one of the carbohydrate compound. So, then leucoplast is synthesized. Is synthesized which can provide, it is provide to the starch. It can provide starch. Then again different type, that is the color. Color is then provide, it is nothing but then synthesized. Then it has chromoplast. Then chromo. So, it has chromoplast. Then the chromoplast it also synthesized. The color is not synthesized, it is a just a kind of the color only. Then the chromoplast it is synthesized by which chromo, it has a color, that type of the color chromo, that it is sometimes it is in mention or synthesized in the carotenoids, that is the carotenoids pigments. Then the chromoplast it is synthesized carotenoid pigment. Carotenes, that means it has in red or orange in color pigments is called the carotenoids. Then again chloroplast, then it is chloroplast is also synthesized. Synthesize green pigments. Green pigments. So, then different type of the chloroplast is the synthesized by the different kind of the way. So, here it is a different type of the by which it has in the chloroplast, it has completely then the surrounding or envelope the different type of then the membrane. It is called also eukaryotes type of the membrane. It is the chloroplast, it is the eukaryotes membrane. Then this one is the eukaryotic membrane. Chloroplast, eukaryotic membrane. Then it is also then the different type of the associated of completely, that means photoplantic type of the pigments, that the leaves almost of chloroplast, it is in higher type of the plants, in large number of chloroplast, where occurs of the chloroplast occurs into the chloroplast, it is the then the chloroplast present in where mostly higher plants, in higher plants, which part mostly it has in leaves, the chloroplast it presents in mostly in higher plants. In that higher plants, the plant part of plant body, that is the leaves, most of the chlorophylls. Okay. Then in this type of the chlorophylls in higher plants, that means large number of the chloroplast, high amount or large number of chloroplasts in higher plants, chloroplast in higher plants. Okay. Then this one is completely then the different type of the plants, different type of the chlorophyll pigments, because all plants is not same in colors, type of the leaves or stems. So in depend on their colors, different type of the chlorophyll pigments in there. So then the leaves of higher plants, that is the different type of the shape or different type of the sizes. That means large amount of in the chloroplast or chlorophylls in higher plants, most of the chlorophylls different type of their structure or shape, that is the different ovoid or different type of any spheroid. The chloroplast occurs into the higher plants leaves. In this higher plants leaf, these are the completely high amount or large number of chloroplasts, that means 20 to 40 chloroplasts. In these chloroplasts, they have the different type of the shape or structure, that is in higher plants chloroplast spheric, spheroid or ovoid, different type of the spheroid or ovoid type of the plants, or sometimes that is the discoid type of the chloroplast is also present, discoid. Discoids also in present. Most of in these chloroplasts in higher plants at the same time, one of the eukaryotic type of the membranes, that is the it also belongs to the kingdom of plants kingdom, that is the Thallophyta, that means algae, heterotype of the plants, that is the algae. The most of the algae is also Algae. Algae is one of the different type of the chlorophyll pigments. Okay, right now. The algae is one of the different type of the chlorophyll pigments. That is the red, blue, green or brown different type of the chlorophyll pigments. Algae. Red, blue, green algae or green pigments. Red pigments, blue green algae pigments or green pigments. So, in higher chloroplast is present in also algae. Algae is also having different type of the chloroplast. Chloroplast pigments, red pigment or blue pigment or green pigment, brown pigments. So, different types of the pigments is also present in algae. So, in this type of the pigments, that structure is also different. Some of the ribbon like structures or cup type structures. In this different type of the structure depend on their cell wall, algal cell wall. Algal cell wall is different to the plant cell wall. So, then the pigments is also different type of the pigments. It is when the leaves plant, they have to the different type of the chloroplast as well as algae is also different type of the chloroplast. But different type of the structure is also depend on the plants cell wall at the same time algal cell wall. So, here algal cell wall chloroplast is different. Algae chloroplast is different, differ to plant cells, plant chloroplast. Okay, algal chloroplast is differ to plant chloroplast. So, then all plant cells chloroplast is spheroid or ovoid, sometimes discoid type of the chloroplast. But algal cell chloroplast, it is in ribbon or cup shaped type of the chloroplast. That is the sometimes it is also spiral type of the chloroplast, that is the different of than the algal, that is the spirulina, spirogyra. So, spiral type of the chloroplast is also present in different type of the algae. Then the algae it completely then the different structure about than the cell walls. In these among these type of then the most of then the higher plants, that means the chloroplast is also 20 to 40 amount of the chloroplast is present. Then these are the general. Then again structure of the chloroplast. What is the structure of the chloroplast? What is the particles are present in the chloroplast? For example, the structure of chloroplast, it is a different type of the structure of chloroplast, because it not in all kind of the plants or algae chloroplast is differ. So, it is also different type of the chloroplast, that is the ovoidal type of the chloroplast is present. So, here it is structure, that is the it has the cell membrane or that is the different type of the lamella or cell membrane. It is 2 layers of smooth cell membrane, 2 layers of smooth cell membrane. So, this one is the outer membrane, outer smooth membrane. Then going to the another layer, it is in the inner smooth membrane. This one is the inner membrane. Inner membrane. So, it has consist of then the two types of the layers, that is outer layer or inner layer. It is completely then, that is the space, what in the space, outer membrane, at the same time inner membrane space. In between two layers, the space, it is called pre-mitochondrial space. It's this space is called pre-mitochondrial space. So, it has completely different type of the cell structures, that is the different type of cell structures means thylakoids, grana, or so it has completely different layers and different structures of the layers, involvement of the different type of structures. So, the different type of structures is mostly stroma thylakoids, then stroma thylakoids, or then the different type of then the granas. Granas. It has most of the then the structure, that is it has in the consist of the soluble or insoluble carbohydrates. So, it has the different of then the carbohydrates molecules also involves. The carbohydrates. It's also consisting to the different type of the, that is the ribosomes. The chloroplast most of the consist of the ribosome, that is 70 S ribosomes only, 7 ribosomes, that is 70 S. Then again it also then this the circular type of the DNA, circular DNA, circular DNA. So, then the most of the, that is the chloroplast, it has in then different type of the structures, then different type of structures, different types of the, that is it has consist of the two layers of the cell membrane, outer membrane as well as inner membrane. It has most in the granas, at the same time carbohydrates, 70 S ribosomes, circular type of the DNA, stroma thylakoids also present in the chloroplast structures. So, each and every one we can observe the different type of the pod, study about the first of all granas. that the grana. Grana, what is the grana? That is the granas is the completely flat-ended types of the grana. Grana, it means completely then the flat-ended membrane, flat-ended membranes, that it is called also thylakoids, flat-ended membrane. It is known as thylakoid. It is known as thylakoids. Then the membrane is completely then the different type of the unstable thylakoids or different type of the lamella type of the thylakoids. It has two variations of then the thylakoids. That is the most important of the particles. It is in cristae. In the grana, most important, that is the cristae. So this one is the important in the, already we know what is that? That is the light reaction. That means at the same time then the formation of ATP formation. It is the used in most of the ATP formation. The cristae it is most of the used, or grana it is most of the used in ATP formation. ATP formation in almost all light reaction. So this is the grana is completely then the different type of the grana structures. For example, individual we observe the grana structures. For example, this one is the grana. This is the flat end circular type of the structures. One by one it is the that is the filament type of the structures, one by one. So then again that is the different, it is attached to the end to end, that is then it is also then another type of the grana. So in this also grana. So in this type of the end to end grana, intergrana, this one is the called to the intergranas thylakoids. So in between the two granas attachment, that is the intergrana thylakoids. Intergrana thylakoids. So these are the complete the pair that is attached to the flat end type of the closed granas. Then the closer to the interthylakoid grana is closer to another grana. Then grana is different. Then again intergrana. Then it is one to one attached to the different type of the granas. Again, so these are the different type of the structures. Then intergrana thylakoids type of then the structures. So this one is most of then the flat-ended type of the grana closer together of then the grana. So it is in the stalked completely then the stylocoids most of in higher plants and green algae. The grana stalked thylakoids, then the grana thylakoids most of in higher plants in green algae. Higher plants and green algae. Higher plants and green algae. That is the complete different type of the algae. Already we told that is the red or blue green or green type of the algae. So, here it is red and blue green pigments is contains different type of the granas. Different type of red and blue green pigments is contains grana nucleus. Then that means phycobilins. The red and blue green algae pigments contain different red plus blue green algae. It is contains then it's contain and produced to that different type of the phycobilins. That is phycobilins. Then the phycobilins. So, it is most of the used in the photosynthesis pigmentations. That is it is used in the light harvesting complex, that is in photosynthesis. Most of the grana is used in photosynthesis. That is the completely light harvesting system, photosynthetic 1, PS1, at the same time cyclic or non-cyclic type of the photosystem. Cyclic or non-cyclic type of the photosystem. Cyclic or non-cyclic type of the photosystem. It is most of the present in PS1. At the same time cytochromes. Cytochromes is not in the only one variation. Cytochromes is also different type of the cytochrome. Cytochrome, it has a complex type of the cytochromes. That complex, it means cytochrome complex. It means cytochrome A, cytochrome B, cytochrome F, cytochrome B6, cytochrome B12. These are the different type of the cytochromes. So, then the grana, it presents in the different type of the cytochromes, that is the cytochrome C, cytochrome B or cytochrome F also in present. It has a different type of the listed of reactions is also mentioned in the granas. Okay. Now, we can discuss about the different type of the stromas. Different type of the stroma. Where can I write? Now I rub this. Stroma. Stroma. The stroma, it is the most of the consist of starch and lipids. Stroma, it is consist of starch and lipids. Most of the starches and lipids. In almost all, it has it, then the chloroplast, it is in the most of the higher plants. So, it is in almost all, stroma is also higher plants, large type of the granules. It has in large granules. It's also large type of the granules. Then it is one of the different type, that is the that granules store, it is the it presents or it completely, then the stroma is most of the use in the, that is the RUBP ribulose, that means rubisco. It presents in the rubisco, that is the complete, or rubisco, it means different type, that is the different variation, then the that means different type of then the plants. Its development of the pre-protoplast or different type of the involvements of the protein synthesis. It used also different type of the protein synthesis. Protein synthesis. And the rubisco is most of the reaction, that is the dark reaction. So, then the dark reaction, it is most of the used in dark reaction. Its development of completely proplastids is most of the stroma is development, that is the proplastids. Proplastids, for example, that is the chromoplast or chloroplast. Proplastids. Example of chloroplast or chromoplast, because both are in colorful region. So, in that the plastids also different type of then the, these are the presence in the stroma's functions. Then thylakoids is also most of the closed of the thylakoids, one to another one. The closed thylakoid, it is most in the closed to the granas. The thylakoid is closed by the granas. So, here complete then the most of the two variations of the thylakoids, that is the different type of the prothylakoids, it presents in the stroma thylakoids, then it is called to the matrix. Matrix. The thylakoid is closer together, that is the involvement of the different type of the structure, it is called to the just looking like a matrix like structure, one to another one, that is the different way of the structures in the grana thylakoid. So, it is called to the matrix. It is in the different type of the matrix, that is the different type of the higher type of the lamella. It has completely granas lamella, then the granas lamella. That means it has in the two variations, granas lamella as well as stroma lamella. Then the thylakoid matrix is two variations, that is the grana lamella, at the same time stroma lamella. Then the grana lamella, for example, it has in the thylakoid grana lamella, that is the small amount of the thylakoids is grana lamella. Then the stroma lamella is the higher amount of the higher amount or large thylakoids. The grana lamella is small thylakoids, stroma lamella is large thylakoids. It also pigment, then the large lamella it's completely absorbing the light absorbing, then the stroma large thylakoid, it is in small thylakoids, it has large thylakoids, Then the large type of the thylakoids, it is absorbing large amount of the pigments. It is the large amount of the pigments. This large amount of the pigments is called to the, that means quantosomes. That large amount of the pigments is called the quantosomes. This type of the quantosomes is present in the storage of different type of the photosynthetic cycles. The quantosome sometimes it has mentioned into the antenna type of the pigment, antenna pigments, or different type of the accessory type of the pigments, that is the different of than the pigments. So, in this stroma lamella it has large thylakoids. These large thylakoids then the observing of the amount of the large pigments in this type of large pigments is known as quantosomes. So, this one is the complete structure of the chloroplast plastids. So, now what is the functions of the chloroplast? Then the function, first of all, most important, it is the formation of ATPs. At the same time it is a synthesis by the photosynthesis. Then it is produced different type of the RNAs, that is mRNA, tRNA, rRNA. It is produced completely mRNA, tRNA, rRNA. At the same time it is synthesized by, it is formation by the ATP formation. Then again it is synthesized by the photosynthetic reaction, that is the dark and light reactions also. Then it is in the synthesized then completely, then the, that means protein synthesized, protein synthesized. Then the chloroplast function is one of, is also protein synthesis. Then most of the chlorophyll produces completely, it has in the carbohydrates. These type of the carbohydrate synthesized, it has in dark or light reaction, the both reaction it is synthesized carbohydrates. This is the topic in chloroplast. So, in most of the chloroplast that has completely, then the mention the different type of the chloroplast, it is in most of the higher plants of the chloroplast, in blue green algae, at the same time higher plast of the higher amount of the higher plants in leaf pods, at the same time the autotrophic organisms of in algae, it also consists of then the chloroplast plastids, that is the different type of the pigments. So, this is the among these all characters among the chloroplast or plastids structure.